Well, as you look at the state, I mean, you bring up a bunch of issues: the need to get the budget under control, the the need to bring in businesses so that jobs are created, the challenges we face with infrastructure. As you go through those, what do you see as the priorities that should be addressed?
Number one's got to be the budget. And look, Alex, I'm not going to belabor the point because it's really not brain surgery or rocket science. I balance 9 straight budgets. I understand how to balance of $200 million or more, by the way. So it's real simple. If you don't have it, you don't spend it. If you can't pay it back, you don't borrow. I mean, beyond that, I don't understand how we get ourselves into these jams of not being able to understand a very basic core function of how to put together a state budget. And the problem, of course, we know is we have so many constituencies. We've promised way too much to too many people, and we really can't keep that promise anymore. Tough conversation to have, but one that's going to have to be had. My proposal is very simple. I want to cut 17% across the board out of every department. Here's people said, well, you can't do that because this is an important function and that's not. Well, the reality is that when you start carving out individual departments or individual constituencies, they're right back to the same problem again. Everything's untouchable. Nothing can be put on the table. So the only fair way to do this is to ask everybody to take a bite, and it's about 17% savings you'll have to find in each department. So that's how I would handle that. Job growth is critical as well, because if you create more taxpayers, if you get people back on the roll, you'll generate more revenue. So you'll be able to, through cuts and through job creation, be able to hit that sweet spot of balancing the budget and providing the services that you have to have. But I just want to say it's really important right now, because of the culture of our state government, particularly the legislature, government going forward, the state government, under no circumstances can raise taxes, can charge fees, can collect tolls, can do anything along those lines. You cannot give those people in the legislature more money. If you do, they're going to spend it on every wacky program they can dream up, and they'll be right back in front of you in 3 years saying, we can't meet our obligations, we need to raise taxes again. You can't do it. I'm just telling you, I know these people. I've worked with them. That's why both Mike Fedeli and I have signed a pledge that we won't raise taxes or collect fees or implement tolls or anything like that, because we believe it's so critical that the first step is to downsize and right-size government. You got to do that first. Then after all that's done and all the smoke clears, if we have to go back to the taxpayers and say, look, we've got a reduced workforce by 12,000 people, and we have combined departments and created efficiencies, but we're still a little short on making our obligation, I think the taxpayers won't be as cynical as they are right now, because the cynicism out there is just killing us about government.
Are you going to approve oil rigs in Long Island Sound?
Not anytime soon, no.
Okay,
I don't think so.
So our green candidate will be you, at least as far as that goes.
Although I mean, energy is a great area. We don't have a really strong energy policy that makes sense. Our electric rates are the highest in the nation. It's killing job creation, job growth, and it's why one of the reasons why there's no manufacturing left in Connecticut, because you just can't run a machine shop here based on our electric rates. But that means more generation. More generation means somebody somewhere in Connecticut is going to have a power plant in their community, and nobody wants a power plant. So those are some of the trade-offs and this long, big picture discussions that we have to have.
And what about the challenges with transportation? I know that you've talked about those over the years. What do you see as being our primary objective?
Well, I'm going to tell you this. DOT's got to stop, again, working on big boom, big bang projects, okay? One of the fixations we happen to have in state government right now is on trains. There's this sort of, how big can we make our trains? And let me just explain something to you. You could sell every ticket on some of these projects for every seat on that train, and you're still going to operate at a loss. So we're always going to have to subsidize the train system, even after we put in $1 billion or $2 billion of improvements to the Hartford to Springfield line or the New Haven to Springfield line, whatever the improvement is. That's just a reality of the marketplace. It would be cheaper to go buy everybody a car than to invest that kind of money into our train system. Okay. Because you have to listen and respond to what the market is. And if the market's not driving it, it doesn't make it financially feasible, we shouldn't be doing it. But we ought to also be looking at places like 84 and 95 and some of those other exits and stop fixating on the big widening projects. You know, the widening project in 84, for example, from 1 to 18 is $3 billion. But you know what? For about $50 million, you can do a lot of good, a lot of new exits, a lot of new lights, a lot of turning lanes, a lot of selective widening in key spots, and get a lot more bang for your buck. And by the way, get it done this century versus having to wait 75 years for something that may never happen. So prioritizing is critical.
I was wondering, what needs do you have with your campaign at this point?
Well, one of the things we like to do is have people visit our website, boughtonforct.com. We have a sign up there for volunteers. We have a newsletter that goes out weekly. You know, we're really traveling around the state. This weekend I'll be at a parade up in the east mid-section part of the state. I'll be all the way over in New London at a sail fest in the afternoon. And everywhere in between, we'll be stopping Manchester, Cheshire, and some other stops. So we always need volunteers at in those communities if people have time. Later on in the cycle, as we get closer to August 10th, we're going to have mailings to go out. So sign up and be a volunteer, and we love to get people engaged and involved in what we're trying to do.
And I know if I don't ask you this one question, I probably will get hit with. You took some flack with your stance on immigrants. Would you care to talk about your position and why you took the flack you did?
Well, listen, you know, let me just say we love immigrants. The issue is not about immigrants, it's about illegal immigration. And you didn't do it on purpose, Alex, I know that. But oftentimes the press tries to commingle those terms because it's a very emotional thing for people. Everybody's an immigrant, so why would we be against immigrants? And we're not. Our challenge, though, is to manage the broken system that the federal government has not managed of illegal immigration, which has put pressures in local communities across Connecticut and specifically in Danbury. I've taken a strong stand to say, look, the laws of the United States of America ought to be enforced. That's what you pay me to do, and that's the oath of office that I took. And I believe strongly about that, and we do it in a fair and compassionate way. And we don't, you know, obviously we work with our federal partners who actually do the enforcement piece to it. So I don't think there's anything wrong with that, and I don't think there's anything wrong with having a conversation about about an issue of national importance in your community. Again, people are emotional about it. They paint you with all kinds of horrible terms, but at the end of the day, I think by my track record, each year I've gotten returned to office by 67% of the vote. I think people pretty much agree with my position.
And that's in a pretty diverse population.
No question. Some of my most ardent supporters in Danbury are Latinos and Hispanic voters, and because we all work together every day to build a better community, and they know that.
So now I just want to make sure that our viewers got this correct. It's www.boughtonforconnecticut.com if you're looking to work with the campaign and get more information.
And we're also on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, you name it, we're there.
And I would like to thank Mayor Mark Boughton for joining us for tonight's broadcast of Brookfield Today and Beyond. This broadcast was sponsored by the Brookfield Republican Town Committee. I hope our viewers have found Mayor Mark Boughton's responses as well considered as I have, and urge our viewers to go to his website to learn more about his policies and qualifications, as well as opportunities to get involved with his campaign for Lieutenant Governor of the state of Connecticut. And if you have any additional questions which you would like us to broach with any of the remaining candidates we're going to see, you can contact our show at www.brookfieldgop.com. And then again, for Mayor Mark Boughton, questions, www.boughtonforconnecticut.com. On behalf of the Brookfield Republican Town Committee, this is Alex DeLucia thanking you for joining me for this installation of Brookfield Today and Beyond. Good evening.